Welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers.
We're your hosts, Mary Ann
and Ching-en.
Please join us as we explore the journeys amazing people take in pursuit of their dreams.
And get insights from their experiences.
Let's hit the road.
And get started.
Hello and welcome everyone to Formosa Dream Chasers. In case you missed our previous episode, we talked about the Taiwan International Human Rights Film Festival held last month. This year's festival had two main sections, one on gender equality and the other on the human rights lens, which takes a closer look at the themes of hatred and forgiveness.
We had the opportunity to talk to Director Tal Barda previously, whose film I Shall Not Hate was a notable selection in the festival. The film is based on the life of Dr. Izzeldin Abuelish, who also wrote his memoir in 2011 titled I Shall Not Hate, a Gaza doctor's journey on the road to peace and human dignity.
Today, we are honored to meet and chat with five-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee, Palestinian human rights activist, Dr. Izzeldin Abuelish. Welcome, Dr. Izzeldin, and would you like to say hello to our audience and share a bit about yourself?
Thank you so much for inviting me, and good morning, good evening to all of the people of Taiwan, and thank you for hosting me and to speak to the Taiwanese people.
Thank you for coming. For audience who do not know your story yet, could you elaborate on how you grew up, where you grew up, and so you went to Cairo to learn medicine, and what medicine or medical science teach you about the humanity? Would you like to say more about this?
Thank you. I was born in Jabalia refugee camp. I never ever tasted my childhood. Teeming poverty, deprivation, suffering, to the extent sometimes to hate your life. Why I am here? Children are the beauty of life, and we need to give them the time to enjoy their life. But I found my way only in education. I have to get rid of the misery of life. So I have to succeed. And I dreamed to be a medical doctor because at the age of 10, I have a rheumatic fever and I was admitted to the hospital. And because of that, I saw the doctors, how they treat the patients. I said, I want to be a medical doctor where it gives me a good opportunity to have a job because I am the eldest among my siblings. I have a responsibility. So I said, I have to work hard. And life is not merciful in this world. So I took that challenge. I dreamed and I succeeded to go to get a scholarship to study medicine in Cairo. And that's important. Life taught me nothing is impossible in life. So from Cairo University to London, where I specialize in obstetrics and gynecology, to work in Saudi Arabia in many countries, again to do subspecialty in infertility and fetal medicine in UK, and the last to go to Harvard University to have a master in health policy and management, and to be the first Palestinian doctor to practice medicine in an Israeli hospital. Because I want the Israelis who are occupying, oppressing the Palestinians to understand that Palestinians are equal to them, are human. And the message I want from all to understand. As a gynecologist practicing medicine in an Israeli hospital, where I deliver thousands of babies, medicine is a human equalizer, stabilizer, socializer, and harmonizer. The cry of the newborn baby, it's the only cry in our life which means life. The cry of the newborn baby is a cry of life, of hope, of happiness at that moment. And even the newborn baby is born free. Why? Once the babies step outside the borders of the hospital, we start to violate their rights, to discriminate between them based on color, ethnicity, background, religion. We need to treat all equally, with equal rights, with dignity and respect to all. And that's the message I am taking in this world, without double standards, because rights are rights. White is white and the black is black. Not to have double standards, to be selective. Your rights is equal as a female or whoever you are to you as a male or whoever you are, whatever your background. So we need to equalize between people in this world, and there is no problem in the international law, the human rights conventions. The problem in the countries which are using these laws, we need to lead in this world by example. and to endorse it, not based on power or ethnicity or religion or a political agenda. It's time to humanize, not to politicize.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Izzeldin. I don't want to go into too much detail about your story, as I feel I can't fully capture the depth of your experience like the film does. And I would highly encourage our audience to watch the film given the opportunity. However, one pivotal moment in your journey occurred on January 16, 2009, when an Israeli tank shelled your home. Tragically, your daughters, Bisan, Mayar, and Aya, along with your niece, Noor, lost their lives that day, and several other family members were seriously injured. Having watched this film and having witnessed just a microcosm of your life and the traumas you endured, I cannot fathom how you have managed to let go of the hurt, the anger, and the desire for revenge. And I deeply respect the extraordinary courage it takes to consciously choose to move forward, to advocate for peace, and uphold that commitment to this very day. Dr. Izzeldin, your memoir, I Shall Not Hate, A Gaza Doctor's Journey on the Road to Peace and Human Dignity, has been translated into 23 languages. You consistently urge people and officials in the Middle East to stop the bloodshed and foster dialogue for mutual understanding. And this, despite having traversed that journey of personal pain and grief. You have said that your strongest wish is for your daughters, Bisan, Mayar, and Aya, and your niece, Noor, to be the last casualties in the pursuit of peace between Palestinians and Israelis. Could you share with us how you came to this mindset that not hating and finding a means for coexistence between Palestinians and Israelis is the only way forward to peace?
As a Palestinian who was born, raised, and lived in Jabalia refugee camp in the Gaza Strip, and still my home, my family, my people are there, I want the people to know who are the Palestinians. We are people like others. We want to live and to give life, to succeed. We have plans, we have dreams. But the biggest challenge in this world and the challenges we are facing in our world are man-made. Everywhere they are man-made. What can we do to unmade it? I am authentic Palestinian. I was born in Palestine. My parents were uprooted from their homeland. I didn't come from any other country around the world to be there. We are there and we were uprooted, and by man-made action we became refugees. So my life was a war. All of my life was a war. I was fighting, and we as Palestinians, we continue until today. We are fighting just to survive, to recognize our rights as equal to others. The most holy thing in the universe is a freedom and a human being. No one should be deprived of their freedom or their rights. And we as Palestinians, we don't want to delete anyone. We want to be added. We want to be recognized, to recognize our rights. We don't have problems with human rights conventions. We have problems with the people who are violating these human rights, who are taking these human rights by power, or thinking they have the right to do whatever they want, whatever the price. Because violence happens when we violate someone's dignity, rights, freedom, and life. So it's time to stand for the rights of all, justice for all, freedom for all. I said it, as you mentioned, if I could know that my daughters were the last sacrifice on the way to peace, on the road to peace between Palestinians and Israelis, I will accept it. Sadly, they were not the last. They were only just numbers. Even my daughters who were killed, murdered 16th of January, and just lately, with the genocide committed against Palestinians in Gaza, more than 50 members of my family were murdered. Sisters, nephews, nieces, they are only numbers. But it's shame that human beings to be statistics and numbers. As I said, the most holy thing in the universe is a human being. Saving one's life as if you save the world. Killing one as if you killed the world. So it's time to stand for the life for all, justice for all, freedom for all. That's why I don't accept what happened to me or to others in this world. I will continue to advocate for the life for all. I know the meaning of the loss. No one knows the loss till we suffer. No one knows the freedom till we lose our freedom. So I stand. I have been burned by the fire of loss, of the killing my daughters, of deprivation, of poverty, of suffering. But in spite of that, I took the responsibility and I said, because it's man-made, it's the hope. What can I do to challenge this man-made suffering and to succeed? And I say to people, the audience, the Taiwanese people, don't accept to be a victim more than once. Take responsibility to challenge and to keep moving forward. Someone can oppress, can deprive, can occupy, can kill, but no one can prevent us from dreaming. So we need to dream, but the dreams are not just words. Dreams, we need to believe in them and to act to achieve these dreams. So we as Palestinians, we are big dreamers, and we need your support, the Taiwanese people, who are also big dreamers, to dream in their own rights, to join, to come together, and the world, to make the world free, just, equal rights for all. Then we all will celebrate the consequence of that, which is the peace which is missing in our world.
For context, the fighting that happened when Dr. Izzeldin's 3 daughters lost their lives occurred in what is known as the Gaza War. It is also referred as the First Gaza War, Operation Cast Lead, or the Gaza Massacre. It was a 3-week armed conflict that occurred in the Gaza Strip between Hamas and the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, that began on December 27, 2008 and ended on January 18, 2009 with a unilateral ceasefire. Sadly, the conflicts between Hamas and Israel have not stopped. Last October 7th, Hamas terrorists and other militant groups stormed a music festival in Israel, killed 1,200 people, and kidnapped more than 250 others, taking them back to Gaza and triggering Israel's current war on Hamas.
The UN recently released a video outlining the state of affairs. The UN states that 1 year after the war in Gaza, violence persists and humanitarian crisis continues. Over the past year, UN officials have condemned Hamas attacks, called for the immediate release of all hostages, and urged for ceasefire. Gaza remains sealed off, leaving no safe areas for civilians.
Here is the audio clip of the UN video.
Let me begin by repeating my utter condemnation of the abhorrent attacks by Hamas. I reiterate my call to immediately cease these attacks and release all hostages.
Israeli forces have responded with airstrikes into the densely populated Gaza Strip.
The Gaza Strip is sealed off completely.
From north to south, there's no place safe.
The shops are going to run out of basic food items within days.
Famine in the northern part of Gaza is imminent.
We have the supplies, the teams, and the plans. What we don't have is access.
We need every single crossing into Gaza opening.
Incubators need fuel, they need electricity.
UNRWA is facing a deliberate and concerted campaign to undermine its operations.
I wrote to the Security Council invoking Article 99 because we are at the breaking point.
I'm just 19. My life starts now and it's finished.
Hospitals need to keep running and to remain safe havens.
Shifa Hospital was the core of the health system in Gaza Strip.
There are over 1 million people who are sick. Now there's polio.
I once again demand the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages.
Release of the hostages?
Immediate
and unconditional.
All the hostages
must be released.
In Eastern Khan Yunis, there were new evacuation orders issued last night.
9 of every 10 people in Gaza Strip have been internally displaced at least once, if not up to 10 times.
There was active shooting in the area. Our car has been hit by some bullets, so we're going to keep going.
We're trying our best to get at the most critical patients here.
The UN is totally committed to stay and deliver for the people of Gaza.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs website shows the impact since October 7, 2023 are as follows. For the Palestinians, over 42,000 have been killed and over 97,000 have been reported injured. In terms of damages, over 70,000 housing units have been destroyed. UN estimation states that there are 1.9 million displaced in Gaza.
Because you already had your memoir, we were wondering what your thoughts were when Director Barda reached out to you with the desire to feature your story on film.
You know, after I wrote my book, many producers, they approach me, they want to write the film, to produce it, to direct it, and to have this message to spread it in this world. But I have one condition at that time. I know this world is poisoned with politics. So I want to keep the message as a human as it is. A universal human message of hope, of courage, of justice and equality. So when Tal came to ask me, because the message has been spreading all over the world, so she approached me asking, what do you think? I said one condition, to keep the message as a human. And because the film is a Canadian-French production, I said to Tal, I don't want to politicize it. You are coming to the film as a French director, not as anyone else. We want to humanize it. So I don't have any issue with any human being. I don't look to you if you are Taiwanese or anyone. I see you as a human. How do you deal with me? How do you treat me? How can we understand each other without labeling each other? And that's what we need. And that's what I said. I am ready. Under one condition, the final cut of the film, I have to approve it because I want to keep it holy and sacred. With all of the challenges I faced, the film is progressing, and always I see the positive in every aspect of life.
I understand. When I was watching the film, I was struck by your words, which you just said right now, and I realized that as people, as humans, we're all the same. But at the same time, as we grow up, we start putting all of these, what you call labels and definitions.
And barriers.
Yes, and they become barriers, exactly. So we say, I'm female, I'm male, I'm Taiwanese, Palestinian, Israeli. We put all of these barriers and we forget that at the foundation, we're all the same. We're people, we're humans.
I agree with you. And that's why I say to people, instead of going down to divide, go up. We are created from Adam and Eve. From a man and a woman, and we became nations and the tribes. No one, you can't find two people who are the same, 100%. We are equal, but we are different. And we need to find a way to live in harmony with understanding, with equality, with respect. No one is superior to the other. No one is preferred to the other based on their color or ethnicity or background. Nothing should be by force or by power. It should be by the power of humanity, by the power of morals and ethics and the human rights that we all are advocating for.
I'm afraid that's all the time we have today. Please join us next week as we continue our chat with Dr. Izzeldin.
This is Ching-en Cho
and Mary Ann Shoko.
See you guys next week. Bye.
Listen. Are you listening? This is the sound of my country. This is the sound of Taiwan.
Taiwan, a small island with a whole world of sounds.